So wonderful dolls from the Lorna Lieberman collection also include not only her papier-mâches, but other dolls of wood, of cartone, of porcelain, and of bisque. And I have an example of early dolls. The latest of these probably being the Girl on the End of bisque, who was made about 1875. About 100 years earlier than that, made in England, we have two wooden dolls, and they both are treasures to show. Sitting in the chair is this wonderful little doll, and I wrote a book once called In the Palm of Your Hand, talking about little dolls and the special charm that little dolls that you can hold in the palm of your hand have. And I've never seen one of the English wooden dolls from the late 1700s that is made in this size. It had to be designed for a portrait of a particular child, and it is absolutely charming. Wonderful painting, and even having her totally original costume. She's just grand. Now this could be her dad next to her, although I don't know if it is, but it could well be. And he is wonderful too. I want to turn him to the side so you can see, again, the aristocratic sculpting of that kind of a lack of a bridge nose that was very distinctive in trying to make this highly refined aristocratic person. He has the enamel inset eyes, just the hint of a tiny, tiny little smile, and his original painting and cheek blush, and what a grand original costume he has. The detail of the vest is extraordinary, with the embroidered and hand-painted details on it. And he has hanging down his little fob and his watch, his wonderful watch. The stockings, wow. All these companies that are making crazy leggings today, let me tell you, they could copy his leggings because they are pretty fancy and pretty nice. He has his original tricorn hat on the top of his head. And when I turn him around, you can see that the costume completely encircles him. Wonderfully fitted striped blue velvet jacket. Do you know that to have fabrics of this type at that time was such a luxury, because it's not just a single blue felt, but it has a woven stripe in it. Very, very luxurious, soft silk velvet. Articulated at the legs, as you can see. He is a fine gentleman indeed. And then we have a lady that, I want to show you her costume. Wait. So the French were trying to make a similar doll, but they made them of a material that was called cartone. And any of you who look at fashion at all, you would know, look at this doll and know what period she's from, because you're seeing this very, very high waist. And that was a style from the 1820s and 30s called the Empire style. And let me just show you. This doll was wearing her original costume. The costume was made of a very, very delicate woven silk and tinsel over a paper lining. And it is so fragile that we wanted to preserve it. We knew that just handling it and traveling with it would really disintegrate the costume. So we've taken the costume off, and we have it in a special custom display box, which gives you the benefit of seeing this doll with her original body that is surprisingly almost in mint condition. Very, very beautiful. Notice the hand sewn. I'm going to turn it around so you can see how these bodies were made. Let me take her off her stand. You can perhaps see her better then. You can see the hand stitching at the back. You can see how the waist had an extra panel of kid that was brought around, and then these little tiny nails put in to hold it together. The material, cartone, which was a form of papier-mâché, but slightly different, and the head is made of, and it comes all the way to the waist. And then when you bring her around, you can see her the front way again. You can see more of the hand stitching on the body. You can see the shapeliness of the very high waist, designed to wear high-waisted gowns such as this was. And this hat, look at that hat. Is that incredible? Her original hat, beautifully preserved, tacked on and fitted exactly to the head with little pieces of hair coming out. And then, I love this doll. I think you can tell the way I keep going on and on about it, but I love her face. Look at this. That face has such an enigmatic, sweet expression. And all original finish, just absolutely wonderful. I hope whoever ends up owning this doll and it goes to live in their house will enjoy seeing her as much as I know Lorna did, and as much as I've enjoyed looking at her for the 2 months she's been here while we've been working on her. Very beautiful doll. And then, meanwhile, was the beginning of dolls made of porcelain or china. It was a really well-developed industry, and I am so happy to see that collectors have taken this new revitalized interest in searching out and collecting really good, rare examples of them. We have a collection of about 20 of them in Lorna Lieberman's collection that will be featured in the auction, and I've just brought 3 of them here for you to look at. So this particular woman has a very, very different face. I know that people like to say that dolls, they like to attach a doll that might be a portrait of an empress or a queen or a princess at the time who was popular. I don't think that in my opinion, they weren't actually made to be a portrait of that person, but that person would have inspired certain hairstyles, certain ways of carrying oneself, certain fashions, the type of facial expressions that would have been popular. And hence the doll makers would have been copying that fashionable look rather than a particular portrait of a person. Again, we have no documents to show us one way or the other, so we just probably a combination of the two. But this doll has a particularly beautiful face, very, very highly defined cheekbones, facial bones, very elegant, long, slender neck. Turning her around so you can see her all the way around. Very, very deeply defined eyelids, very low, dreamy eyelids, very strong nose. And what is especially unusual in an early porcelain doll, she has very, very full lips, which give her a very beautiful bearing. Lovely costume, pink tinted complexion. Everything about her is absolutely wonderful. This one may well be one of my favorites too, because I love the expression on her face. She has painted eyes, but they haven't just painted them over a flat surface. Actually, the eyes are set in there. It's like a defined eye socket in the sculpting, and they are really set in. And again, a wonderful little, almost perky expression on her face. A little, very cheerful person, someone you'd like to know, but still holds herself up quite regally. When I turn her around, I want you to pay attention to the long looping braid that starts here, loops over her ear, and then you're going to see it come around and form into a very, very extended coiled braid at the back. And look at the detail of her sculpted ear, by the way, too. These are all fine features. Very fine definition of sculpted shoulder blades at the back of her shoulder plate. And then finally coming around again. Well, I see nothing to do but absolutely adore this doll. She's wonderful. Fabulous costume, too. And now another example of, I guess when I choose the ones that I want to show you, I'm realizing it now as I'm looking at them, I'm choosing ones that really have personality in their faces. They have a different expression, whether it's regal and dignified or whether, like this little girl, it's kind of like a sort of a, I'm innocent, but I'm a lot of trouble too kind of look. Now, features about her that are different. Again, she has the well-defined eye sockets, but look underneath the eyes. Painted lower lashes. Very, very seldom ever find them on porcelain dolls. Wonderful little impish smiling expression, and as I pull her head back and tilt her head forward, you see the slit in her crown. She's a solid porcelain dome, and there's a slit, and that was designed to actually put the wig on her and pull the wig through the slit, giving it a very, very real look of hair. So called a slit dome doll. And she is wearing, again, a wonderful original costume. The last lady here that I want to show you is from a series of dolls that are believed were commissioned for an early American, like 1870s, 1880s importer in America, and designed especially for this importer. And if I were to, I'd like to stand here and list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the special features about this doll. So let's do it. Brown hair, rare to find, but not just brown hair, very voluptuously waved and curled brown hair, and I'll show you the back of it in just a minute. On top of the brown hair, a mottled Dresden flower with Dresden leaves. Every one of these pieces had to be applied to the doll after the doll head was made, and then hand painted, and then on top of it, gilt edged. Luxury little features. She has sculpted ears, and not just sculpted, but pierced. These are extra features again. A beautifully painted face, very beautifully painted face, and then look at this collar, a double-sided Dresden, I call it ribbon candy collar because it reminds me of old-fashioned ribbon candy, and it's decorated with little pink flowers and gold accents. And then, if that's not enough, it just keeps going. Below that, on the breastplate, is the shaded blue coloring with a hand-painted brown border and a hand-painted blue geometric border. These pieces can be identified if you're ever lucky to find them, and they are so extraordinarily rare. They seldom show up. By the way, look at her hair now that I'm showing you. The back is brought around, it's kind of almost pulled into a knot up at the top. But it has the marking on the back, and I'm going to. So there seem to have been a series of perhaps 8 or 10 of these dolls. And they were probably shipped to the United States as models, as a head model, and shown on exhibition in a gallery in New York during that time.